as you know, the tech industry is, everyone wants to do computer science because that is the future. AI is the future. There's one thing that we've done recently is that we've collaborated with Apple. Sheridan is the first ever college in Canada that is going to be the Apple Distinguished Learning Center. So Apple has come to Sheridan, they've set it up over there. So all the courses in computer sciences, we have integrated Apple courses as well. Students will be taught about how Apple softwares are developed. They can do internships at Apple. They will have a chance to work at Apple. And this is something really huge, like something no one has ever done. And Sheridan is the first ever college who's doing it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Aspire Talks. Today, we're going to be talking about studying in Canada, specifically at a Canadian institution that a lot more people need to be talking about, Sheridan College. Our guest today is Ali Akber, Regional Manager at Sheridan and an expert on the Canadian education system. Ali, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for inviting me to the podcast. I am great. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. So, to start off with, do you think you could tell us a little about yourself, your role at Sheridan, and maybe a little bit about Sheridan too?
Oh, definitely. So my role at Sheridan is that I'm doing student recruitment within Pakistan. So any student who's interested to apply to Sheridan College, from the time of their application till they reach Canada to Sheridan College, I am their point of contact. So to make their transition from Pakistan to Canada and to Sheridan College smoother, they should reach out to me. Yes, it's me. And Sheridan College, I'll just tell you a little bit about what Sheridan College is about. Sheridan is a college located in Toronto, in the Ontario province. We have three campuses. One is in Mississauga, one is in Brampton, one is in Oakville. It's an amazing college. It is known to be a college for animation and arts. We have programs. We just don't have programs just for animation arts, but we have programs health related, tech related, engineering, computer sciences, business related programs, and definitely arts and animation.
That's fantastic. So I can't wait to dig in a little more about Sheridan's programs and learn more about the college. But before that, there's something I want to clear up. There is this perception in Pakistan that studying in Canada has become more challenging, particularly around visas and policy changes and things like that. So, based on your experience at Sheridan, what's your take on that?
So my take, so I think that this is much of a like a false perception about Canada that visas are challenging. I think visas are being challenging across the globe. It ये एक overall world का perception है कि visas are difficult from Pakistan. But I think you should have a neat profile when you're applying to Canada. Canada's visa process a little rigorous, and that's why my role also comes in, where I'm guiding students. I'm telling them what are the requirements for visas and what you can do and what necessary things you can do to make your visa application stronger so that you get the visa, right? So yeah, I think that's a false perception.
And so, would you sort of attribute this idea to maybe students make some mistakes when, they're submitting their application for the visa? So, have you sort of come across any sort of common mistakes that students tend to be making?
Oh, definitely. So, in a visa, in while you're applying for your visas for a student, study permit, you see, they ask you for a birth date. So many of the students, they instead of writing the day first and then month, they write the month first and day first and day second, and that's how their visa gets rejected right there in the system because that writing your date of birth is wrong. So that's a very common like a human error that you do, and that's how visas get rejected. And that's why over here what Sheridan College has done, we've partnered with Border Pass. So Border Pass makes the journey to apply for visas much easier, because what it does is, so when a student applies to Sheridan College, in their offer letter at the bottom, we give them a link to apply for visas for through Border Pass, and Border Pass aligns all their documents in such a way and then tells the student whether it's a strong application for visa or not. So it guides them and it makes everything aligned according to the system.
That's fantastic. That sounds like, it sort of streamlines the process.
Yes, and also reduces the human errors. Like I just mentioned about the birth date, right? Writing the day first and month, in the second, that reduces that
and that
errors
seems
as
like
well.
such a small thing.
That's a very small
it
human
could
error,
cost you your
definitely.
visa. And so, in terms of Sheridan, for students who are able to sort of get in successfully, get their offer from Sheridan and also get their visa approval and all of that, what is the sort of, the common thread? Like, what do those students typically get right?
So a student who wants to apply to Sheridan College, and whatever in the past we've got students with great profile, with neat, clean profile. They don't have much gap. Even if they have gaps in their academic journey, then they can tell us why did they have those gaps. They, when they write their personal statement, they should mention why do they want to study that program, how will they, make a difference if they study this program in their professional and their personal life. And they should just show why are they interested in doing that program. If they can give a good reasoning about that, if they have good grades, especially if they have maths, because maths is something that everyone in Canada needs. Irrespective of whatever program you study, if you want to study like a CS or engineering, you need maths for that. If you have a good grade in math, Sheridan is your college to go for.
Okay, great. And so you talked a little bit about Sheridan and what makes it stand out. But I'm just wondering, so when students, are thinking about studying in Canada, they have no shortage of universities to choose from. There are schools, for students who are interested in engineering. There's some great liberal arts schools as well. What is that one thing about Sheridan, or maybe multiple things, that it's most known for?
So we're known for a lot of things at Sheridan. We're known to be number one college in Canada for animation and arts. Our graduates, they are working at Disney, Pixar, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Deloitte, and big companies like these. Uh, our programs are hands-on. They're industry connected. When a student studies at Sheridan, by the time they graduate with real world experience, because we just don't focus on academics, but we also focus on the other part, that what industry needs in a student. So that's what we're known for.
That's really interesting, and the fact that Sheridan graduates have worked at Pixar, Netflix, all of these huge studios. I think that's a dream that a lot of students have, and Sheridan graduates have actually been able to do that.
Oh, definitely.
Um, so when it comes to, tech programs, tech is a big buzzword these days. A lot of students, especially if they're, planning on investing so much money and studying abroad, they usually are looking to study a program that sort of future proofs their career. And for a lot of people, that is tech. So I would really like to know about Sheridan's tech programs. What options do they have when it comes to studying tech?
So if students want to study tech at Sheridan, so we have different programs. We have just a general computer science what we're offering, and then we have computer science specializing in AI, cybersecurity, software engineering, game engineering, network engineering, data analytics, cloud computing, and the list goes on. There's a huge list what we're offering, in tech for students. As you know, the tech industry is, everyone wants to do computer science because that is the future. AI is the future these days. There's one thing that we've done recently is that we've collaborated with Apple. Sheridan is the first ever college in Canada that is going with the Apple Distinguished Learning Center. So Apple has come to Sheridan, they've set it up over there. So all the courses in computer sciences, we have integrated Apple courses as well. Students will be taught about how Apple softwares are developed. They can do internships at Apple. They will have a chance to work at Apple. And this is something really huge, like something no one has ever done. And Sheridan is the first ever college who's doing it.
So far from everything you've told me, it seems like, Sheridan is very sort of connected with the industry. It seems like there's, less of a focus on pure academics and more on, preparing students for the job market, which is something that really stands out to me.
Definitely, definitely.
But when okay, so we've talked about tech, we've talked about art, creative arts. Are there any other programs, especially the Pakistani students that you have been responsible for sending to Sheridan? What sort of courses do they choose?
So at Sheridan, we're offering a lot of courses. We're offering courses related to medical. There's a course in nursing. Nursing is really top in medical, that all Pakistani student wants to do nursing in Canada. That's a 4-year program. It's a bachelor's of science, and that's a really great program. We have programs related to business. We have engineering programs. One engineering that I personally really like, because a lot of students apply to that engineering program, is mechanical engineering, because it has an option in the 4th year. The student can specialize in either energy or mechatronics. So if someone is doing mechatronics, like he wants to study mechatronics engineering, he can select mechanical engineering, and that specializing in mechatronics. So that's one of the programs that we're offering business related programs. We're also offering, as I mentioned, animation and arts. So that comes like TV and filmmaking, advanced game design, programming, designing. We have AI related courses. One of the hot seller courses that students love doing it is computer science. As I mentioned earlier, is computer science. And if I talk about business, that's supply chain management.
And so, are these programs, offered at the undergrad level, or is it across undergrad and postgrad both?
So it's across all undergrad to postgrads. So we have undergraduate, we have what we're offering to students as bachelor programs, that is undergraduate. We have certifications, we have diplomas, we have advanced diplomas. We have in certifications it also comes under, like, we also have graduate certificates that what we're offering. We also have masters that we're offering to our students. So everything, whether you want to do masters, whether you want to do undergraduate, whether you want to study something very skill based. So our graduate certificates are very skill based programs. For example, supply chain management. Supply chain is a graduate certificate for 2 years. It's a very skill based program that a student can go and upgrade himself professionally and in his personal CV as well. That's a very skill based program that what we are offering.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in the hot seat for a bit. Um, of course, cost is a big consideration when it comes to studying abroad. Not just your tuition, but living expenses, travel, all of that. Um, and I imagine the fees in Canada, it's probably a lot. But what scholarship does Sheridan offer scholarships to sort of make that a little easier on the student?
Oh, definitely. We're offering a lot of scholarships to our students. If a student is going on an undergraduate level, he can expect a scholarship up to 12,000 Canadian dollars. We have different scholarships. I'm just going to mention the scholarship that what we're offering to international students. One is the international scholarship. The other one is the Global Advantage Scholarship. The third one scholarship is a merit on your academic based scholarship. So any student who does well in their academics, so they can also get a top up scholarship every year while they're studying at Sheridan.
And beyond scholarships, what other options do students have to sort of, help them manage their finances? As far as I know, I think students in Canada are allowed to work part time. So does Sheridan help them secure work opportunities?
Oh, definitely. Students, other than scholarship, students can also work part time. Can do part time jobs. We are offering on campus jobs as well, and they can do off campus as well. If a student is enrolled in our semester, so they can work up to 24 hours per week, and off. When they're not studying, when there is a semester break, they can work up to 40 hours per week. That's the opportunity that Canada generally provides. That's not just Sheridan, but Canada generally provides. But what Sheridan is offering, we're giving on campus jobs as well. Students can go to the international office, they can work over there, they can work as a TA, that is a teaching assistant, and there are different on campus jobs that students can do as well.
That sounds really convenient. The idea that they can just,
Yeah, and it's not just convenient, they can also take out their cost of living. So monthly living, whatever the student is spending in Canada, they can take that thing out by doing part-time jobs.
So do you think it's, possible for a student once they get there to work and, support themselves there, support their studies?
Oh, definitely, yes. So a student can support their monthly expenses as well by doing part-time jobs over there, because they will be working 24 hours per week, and they can easily finance themselves. They can finance their accommodation, their food, their travel, all costs. They can do that. But if you talk about the tuition fees, that's a little difficult. They will still have to manage. They can't take that out, not the whole of it, but they can take some chunk out of that by
And then
doing
you
part-time
provide
jobs.
scholarships on
And
top
then
of
we
that as
provide
well.
scholarships and everything, so that is manageable.
Okay, and so while we're on the topic of jobs, I can't imagine it's easy to establish a career in Canada, even once you've completed your studies and all of that. Um, but what is that edge that Sheridan graduates have in the job market that would make it easier for them to find work once they graduate?
Well, this is a great question. So Sheridan programs are PGWP aligned and co-op as well. So when I say PGWP, so there are two benefits that majority of our programs have. Number one is PGWP. So first I'll cover what PGWP is. So when I say PGWP, it means that they're postgraduate work permit aligned. Our programs are aligned with the Canadian government. So that means when a student graduates, he can get a work permit up to 3 years, and he can work and stay in Canada. Out of those 3 years, if he manages to work in Canada for 1 year, that student is eligible to apply for PR that leads to Canadian nationality. Our programs are designed in such a way that something or the other the student gets by the time he graduates. He doesn't just graduate and come back. The other thing that we're offering is a co-op. So what happens in co-op is the last semester of the program, whatever the program the student is studying, he is placed at an internship and he graduates with a Canadian work experience. And in many of the cases, that internship leads to a job. So that's the two main things that a student can avail as well.
Okay, so they graduate Sheridan with work experience. They don't just have to start fresh when, when they enter the job market.
Definitely.
Okay, Ali, so before we wrap up, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to a student who, is considering studying in Canada, specifically Sheridan?
One piece of advice to students that I would like to give is that whatever program you're choosing, choose a program what you're passionate about, what you want to study, not a program that people want you to study. There's a big thing what happens in Pakistan that student tends to choose medical related programs, but then they don't want to do it. They're just doing it because their family wants to do it or their parents wants to do it. So my recommendation is do something what you're passionate about, what you want to do, and not just what other people wants you to do. And because that's a learning that how you grow, because if you do something what you like to do, that's how you can also grow in the job market and industry and overall professionally as well. So that's one advice that I would love to give to students, and I always give that to students whoever applies to Sheridan. I always tell them that are you doing it, are you doing it because you like to do it, or are you doing it because someone is pressurizing you to do it.
All right, Ali, thank you so much for sharing all these insights. I hope viewers were able to learn a few things that will help them on their journey to Canada.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a honor and it's great to be here and doing this podcast and sharing insights about Sheridan College.
It's been a pleasure having you. And thanks so much to all of you for watching. See you next time.